This is the Nogales Bicycle Classic, the 51-mile version from 2017. Big community event. We go from Nogales to Tubac and back, basically, and it's a lot of rollers. Anyway, I got a couple teammates with me, 3 to be exact, and here about 3 miles in, we have the hardest climb of the day. It's short, but it's punchy, and we want to change the nature of this group from, I don't know, about 100 racers to 15 to 20. So Rich Horn goes up and follows Shane, and my buddy Jacobo there records us, and as I go by, I just yell rock and roll. I was just having such a good time. I was so excited. Anyway, Rich actually gets the KOM on this hill, even though we had a little bit of, we didn't have ideal conditions, and it was, he went hard. Anyway, now it's my turn. I'm going to go down the hill. I'm not trying to get away right here. Believe me, I don't want to be away with 48 miles to go, but I just want to make the race hard, and right about now, Rich yells, "You've got a gap." And we had talked about it, and he said they would block. So I got 3 guys right on the front that just hammered it up the hill, and they're blocking. So I'm coming down the hill, and I know going into these corners, nobody's going to go as fast as me because this is where I live. I ride these corners all the time. They're off camber, they're sloppy. Well, that one was off camber, this one's not. So I'm just going, and I'm thinking, well, I got 48 miles to go. So let me get some distance so that I can just settle in. But about another 3 miles down the road or so, one guy catches me. His name's Alfonso, and he's a mountain biker from Mexico. And he's like, "Hey, let's work together." So I'm like, "All right, well, let's go." And it was funny because at first he's just on my wheel telling me to work together. But I'm in a good spot. This is my home turf. He's all by himself. I've got 3 guys behind me, and I know 2 are going to try to bridge up. So my thinking is I'm going to make him be on the front whenever it's slightly uphill, because I know when that happens, and I'm going to be on the front when it's slightly downhill. And without making it obvious, I'm going to try to go a little bit slower, like a mile or 2 slower than he is. So for example, here, a little uphill, we crest the little tiny ridge, and then on the downhill section, I get on the front. And that's what I tried to do for, I don't know, about 25 miles or so. So here's another example. We had just come off a downhill section, and I'm gonna hit this little uphill. And I mean, he was working hard. He's a super strong rider, and he's no dummy. He knows that I got guys following that are on my team, and he's by himself. So here's another example. He pulls off, and he had been going about 23, 24, and I just slow it down. And here's another spot. We're going slightly downhill, looks flat, but coming up, it actually gets pretty hard. I'm not sure why. It's always windy here in about, I don't know, a quarter mile or so. It just gets windy, crosswind, no matter what the winds are normally, and it kind of tilts uphill, and it's really hard. It's a good place to drop people. So I get him on the front and just follow him. He's out of water. He's like, "Hey, let's get some water." And I'm like, "No, I'm good." And the other thing I didn't tell you yet is this whole time when he would come around me, I would hang my head and look tired. And when I was behind him, I was coughing and spitting and coughing. And it seemed like the more I coughed, the harder he worked, because I don't know what his motivations were, but he tries to call me to come to the front. I'm not. He is in distress. And once we take this right-hand turn, we're on the turf where I shine. I've got a kind of unique set of skills as a cyclist, and on rollers like this is where I can really put some hurting on people. It's where I learned how to ride, and on this road in particular. So it's hammer time, and I'm going to punish this poor guy. He holds my wheel for a long time. Attack after attack after attack, just like this one. And I gotta tip my hat, because I don't know how many people really would have been able to hold on right there. I mean, not guys that are racing at my level anyway. So this hill that we're coming up right here, my buddy Dylan is up here on the right. Anyway, this is the hill right here where I learned for the first time how to drop people. And so I'm really trying my best to drop this guy. And Alfonso's just holding onto my wheel, and he's right with me. So on the way down, I keep the pace high, but I know if I didn't drop him on the uphill, I'm not going to drop him on the down. But I still feel like I'm in a good spot. I haven't gone 100%. He has not counterattacked me. And there's one little rise as we go across the stop sign here in just a minute, and then there's about a mile for me to catch my breath, and then I'm going to hit him again. The trick is, how do I get him off my wheel for that mile? Now, right here, what I'm doing is my bar tape came loose, and I'm trying to mess with his head a little bit, and I've got both hands on the left hand side handlebar, and I'm fixing my bar tape. But the whole time I know that just right up there, just about where the motorcycle is, there's a bump in the road, and I'm going to attack him. And so at the last minute, I'm going to take my right hand off the left handlebar, whether the tape's fixed or not, and I'm going to go. So here it comes. But I mean, he was, it's hard to attack from the front. I couldn't get him off my wheel, which is fine. So about a mile later, I'm just, for quite a while, I was going 10 to 15 miles an hour, just basically coasting. And eventually these two guys that were doing like the 30-mile event, they pass us, and Alfonso's like, all right, I don't know what's going on, I'll finally go on the front. So I put him on the front, and I'm just going to follow his wheel. This climb right here is too steep for me to attack a guy like him. He was a strong climber. So my plan is, once we get to the top of this hill, I'm going. And last time I went hard, but this time it's all or nothing, because my thinking is, if he can hold my wheel for this next set of rollers, which is harder, then on the last two climbs he's going to beat me. It's an uphill finish, and it's pretty long, and I'm thinking that he'll beat me if I can't get rid of him pretty soon. I mean, I know he's tired. He looks tired. He's been shaking his hands. He's been stretching. He looks like he's not feeling good. He's trying to get rid of me here, but I'm right there, and I think he knows I'm going to attack. And in just a minute, he sees me. He knows I'm going to go, and he's like, I give up. No more. You win. That's what he said. He said, no more. You win. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah. So I just left. I didn't need to put in a big attack. I just put it enough that if he changed his mind, he wasn't going to have an easy time catching me. So anyway, here, 4 or 5 miles later, we're coming up the finish line. Got to give a lot of thanks to the police officers and the volunteers. Here, this motorcycle cop, he guided me the whole way. Gives me a little thumbs up, which is pretty nice. Coming up the hill at the very end of the finish line, my buddy Tim right there on the left broke his pelvis last weekend, taking a video. Across the finish line, my wife's straight ahead. It's our anniversary on this day. Anyway, pretty awesome. So here's Tim's video of me coming across the finish line, and here I am with Rafita and David, who did the 112. They were first and second. And got to give a lot of thanks to my teammates, Shane, Greg, and Rich. They did a good job. Put me on the podium there with Shane, and there's Alfonso on my right.